So let us pray. Almighty Father, we thank you for bringing us together tonight through all our travels. We ask that you bless this meeting, give us wisdom, grant us knowledge through everything we learned tonight. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Darren, very much. Now, in addition to Darren's personal loss, we all know of the tragic killing of Charlie Kirk, and the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team has responded and deployed chaplains to Utah and Arizona. So in your prayers, continue to uplift them, and also remember the VFW and auxiliary chaplains that are located in those areas, because they will have a ministry also. So we'll keep Darren in our prayers in the coming week. We'll keep our nation and also the chaplains that are deployed in those particular areas, dealing and working with people who are reeling from this grief. As VFW chaplains, we work in close coordination with the Sergeant at Arms during the opening and closing of our meetings. This partnership is essential. It sets the tone of respect, unity, and solemnity in all of our gatherings. Tonight we have with us Brian Willett, our VFW National Sergeant of Arms. I also invited Dave Swanson, Department of Pennsylvania Sergeant of Arms. I'm not sure if Dave is on yet or if he'll be joining us. But I invited both of these individuals to join us tonight, and particularly Brian. I had the privilege of working with Brian. We worked together and collaborated together in Eastern Conference, and then also at the national level at the Council Administration meetings, and also the National Convention. Brian, I am truly honored, and we are honored to have you join with us tonight. So I want to turn it over to you now to take a moment and greet the chaplains, and then also share your insight on the relationship and the importance of this relationship and what you have found helpful in working together. So Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you at this time.
Peter, thank you very much. And to chaplains, greetings to the chaplains. And again, my deepest condolences to Darren. And I've only recently gotten to know Darren, and I'm looking forward to our collaboration as sergeant and chaplain as we move forward in this year, going forward. So my deepest condolences, and it's a really honor to be here. And when Peter, it was my goal to make it to one of Peter's chaplain's meetings in Gettysburg. It was the Gettysburg one seminar, and I couldn't make it. I was so disappointed, and I wanted to. And this is something we wanted to talk about there at this time, like in person. And I met Peter. My time as a sergeant started in about Massachusetts 2015 when I became a sergeant. I became a sergeant arms assistant sergeant in Massachusetts in 2015, and our sergeant passed away, Harold Layton, and I was appointed sergeant arms in Massachusetts. But I had no experience in all the stuff we're talking about now. This was not even in my wheelhouse or my world at this time. And in 2016, with about 1 week's notice, I was whoever the sergeant arms was for the Eastern Conference. I still have no idea. Was not available to perform duties, and George Murray, the late George Murray from Massachusetts, called me up and said, "Would you like to be Eastern Conference sergeant for Pennsylvania next week?" And I said, "Sure." I can only say yes. I'm always a volunteer. Yes, sir. And And you could say the rest is history. Actually, I don't know what we did on that. My memory's blurry. That 2016 Eastern Conference in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. But that was the first time working in conjunction with the memorial service and with a highly professional chaplain and a dedicated chaplain like Peter. And and the rest is history. I think we nailed it in 2016, and we keep trying to nail it to this very day. When we say nail it, it means for us that we got the job done. We conveyed the message of honor, respect to the folks who are attending the services, and doing a good job in that way. It makes us proud. I know it makes Peter proud, and we've had this relationship for all these years that I cherish. So I don't want Peter to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I've told him that many times. Peter can't leave. So so year by year we've gone by. Me learning from Peter, and the relationship between it. And this is something people don't know this is a thing, but this can be a thing. The relationship between the sergeant and the chaplain, to enhance the experience, to enhance the reverence, to make better the experience, to more better honor who we're trying to honor. When we're trying to honor our fallen, this is in Peter's world. It's in you're the chaplains, all of you as a group in your world. And it's a very important part of our role as the sergeants. Now, not all sergeants and chaplains are alike. They don't always share the same goals and passions. We just happen to me and Peter happen to share that goal, and we've been lucky enough to work together all these years. I'm going to give you a quick example of what this relationship was and how it came to fruition.
And we pretty much prepared for the fact that we need.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Okay.
We'll mute them. Okay, go
Sure.
ahead.
So I started at the beginning, 2016, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. I'm going to bring us to the end, or most recent. I won't say the end. Recently, in an impromptu ceremony in Juneau, Alaska, honoring the crew members of the USS Juneau, something I'd always wanted to do. What I'll call at the last minute, I told Peter in this that I wanted to do this. There's a monument at Juneau. We're going to be there. Let's honor the fallen of the USS. Was one of our hometown heroes, and he's yes. He responded as I know Peter would respond. Yes, absolutely. Where's it going to be? What time? All right, see you there. And so we arrive at the memorial site, and again we along. We have a quick talking to. We talk to each other how it's going to go, and I was overwhelmed, although I almost expected of him because he's that guy. I was overwhelmed at his prayer directed directly at the crew of the USS Juneau. It was emotional, it was meaningful, and it brings emotions to me right now, even though this was several weeks ago. His dedication. And so we conducted that. He conducted the opening prayer. I conducted the opening ceremonies. And this is an impromptu ceremony amongst national officers, auxiliary members. And in that situation, you have to make it worth their while to divert their plans to come to an impromptu ceremony. Well, we made it worth their while, didn't we, Peter?
Yeah.
That ceremony was meaningful, and we ended up doing it twice. That's another story. That's the relationship we have. It's a relationship you want to have with all your chaplains and sergeants. It's tomorrow is POW MIA Day. Now, Chaplain Darren is not here in where am I? Kansas City. I'm in Kansas City right now. So what I was going to do tomorrow was tell him, "Hey, Chaplain, it's POW MIA Day, as you know. would you like to conduct a special ceremony tomorrow evening for the dinner, the opening dinner of this event? And I would expect them to say yes. And I would expect, because I'm getting to know Darren. What can we do? How can we do this? And I was going to provide him with some text of the POW. And I was going to provide the chair cover, and the props. I'll call it the props, for lack of a better term, the memorial symbols that go with that ceremony. And it was my goal to do it, and I just want to. It's going to lead me right into the part that one of these issues I want to talk about is sometimes we who want to honor our fallen are up against the people, not up against, but we're up against the schedule of events. People don't always want to include what we want to include in a ceremony. And so we have to make it clear, concise, to the point, and knock it out of the park. That's all. Boom, boom, boom. So that's what I was expecting to do tomorrow evening with Darren. And this brings me to the other point. I don't know who our chaplain is tomorrow, but I'm going to approach whoever that chaplain is, and convince them to do the same thing. And that's my job as sergeant, to make everything go smoothly. That's my goal. So sometimes the people conducting events don't have the time to want to include what we want to include. I've had at the highest level, people want to skip certain ceremonial procedures that there's no way in heck that Peter Hook or any other chaplain is going to skip an opening prayer, a salute to the colors. I'm like, no, we have to do it this way, you know. And I again, having a good relationship, you're able to very tactfully, and sometimes invoking humor or whatever, however I talk to these people, explain, hey, we have to do it this way. That's your job. So I have to stand up for what you guys are doing, and you guys are going to stand up for what we're doing. It's a unique relationship. This is the first time anybody's ever talking about this besides me and Peter. The document that he sent out in the email is two things to me. When I read it about 5 times tonight. I don't have it in front of me because I'm traveling. I'm just coming off of literally a 20-hour drive from Springfield, Massachusetts to Kansas City over the course of 2 days. So I don't have the document in front of me. I read it like 5 times tonight. That what he wrote is a true story of Peter and I's relationship and how we go about business. And it's an aspirational document that should exist for all of us, all the sergeants, all the chaplains. You chaplains know that how you deliver your message. It's in the context you deliver it, the aesthetics, the how you speak about it, various topic. It's how you deliver it is how it adds the meaning to it. You can talk about it by yourself in a room, but how it comes across and how it hits the audience is what you're striving for. I know that's what you're striving for. That's what I'm striving for as sergeant, or when I'm in an honor guard event. I'm striving for effect on the audience. Inflecting the importance of this event on those onlookers. And I know that's what you guys are doing too. So that has to be constantly talked about, cultivated. I have a couple of notes here that I just want a couple of things I wrote down. That's okay. The first note was, what I was going to talk to Darren tomorrow. Do you want to do a POW ceremony? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Knowing your chaplain. Let me just cover this right quick. Knowing your chaplain. I'm going to give a quick story about the first meeting I had with Chaplain Darren at our council administration meeting. We didn't have a chance to really discuss much. We went right into the meeting. So I had a kind of a hiccup with the commander in chief with the opening. I like what I do with the commander in chief. I say, hey, I have a suggestion. You just wrap the gavel and say, Sergeant Arms, prepare the room. And then I run it right through. If Al was great to work for, every commander in chief is different. So I didn't have that conversation with Carol. So we kind of had a little hiccup. And then when it came time for the opening prayer, which I would have called Chaplain forward, I believe the commander in chief called her forward, but she didn't. Normally, the chaplain will go to the podium to give the prayer. That's like the standard thing. But I almost think that she didn't step away from the podium, so he didn't know if he should go to the podium. It was kind of a weird moment. You can ask Darren can probably comment on that. And so that's something as sergeant I straightened out. After that meeting, I said, here's my suggestion. Say, Sergeant Arms, prepare the room. Let me take it. I'll introduce the chaplain. And if you would, when I introduce the chaplain, take a few steps back from the podium so he knows you're clearing the way for him. It's those nuts and bolts things that we do to make the thing just run smoothly or smoother. I won't say smoothly. So it was funny. He did the prayer from his seat, which is not normally done, but I think he looked and didn't see a space for him to go to the podium. So Darren, we straightened that out. And that's just an example. It's relationships, it's talking. Okay, so I forget what section it is. Peter talks about the flag. And I just want to clarify something about the God before country. And Peter and I, every meeting begins with an opening salute to the colors. I've had people say, oh, the chaplain takes us in and takes us out. That is not true. We know that's not true. The flag takes us in and the flag takes us out. So we do an opening salute to the colors. The chaplain gives his invocation, a prayer, and then we honor with the Pledge of Allegiance. That's where the God before country comes in. There's a lot of misconception in the ranks about that line because they know that line, God before country. So they don't want to do anything with the flag before the prayer, and that's not true. We do salute the flag prior to the prayer. In fact, in our book, we salute the flag 2 times before the chaplain's ever even involved. And so people have to know where this all fits in. And we've had arguments with people. So being sergeants, we're on the floor. We have people, and in fact, they haven't messed with us in a couple of years because our stuff is pretty good. But when I started out, I'd have people come to me and say, hey, by this regulation, you're doing this. And I did make mistakes. And people will not hesitate. And they get pretty, when someone believes they're right about something, they really believe it. But believe me, we salute the flag coming in, and we salute the flag going out. And as a matter of fact, we're making a change to our closing ceremony at the VFW National Convention because I'm invoking Peter's name. Peter and I both believe we've been incorrectly closing our convention all these years. The last thing you should be doing is saluting that flag. So we're gonna change that procedure, bring the color guard forward, then do the prayer, then have the color guard retrieve the flags and march off. So the last thing we're doing is saluting. And that's in keeping with our book. If you go through the manual procedure in our meetings book, it's in there. It's all there. They just haven't made that connection to the national level. Peter talked about in that document, this is so important, the military bearing, the precision, the reverence as we go through our ceremonies. That's why you see me standing there with the tribute as I do. I stand there with the tribute in a reverent way before I give it to who is presenting the tribute. no one, no one told me to do this, but this is just something I've seen. When you go to the White House and someone's given a Medal of Honor, you see the officer out there holding the medal as they're reading the citation. No one told me to do that, but I thought that's the right thing to do. When you start talking about the tribute, I present the tribute so people can see it's coming, and we're honoring the tribute, and then we give the tribute, red rose, white rose, blue rose, whatever it is. So that military bearing and that how you compose yourself during each ceremonial movement is important. It does matter. It's me being dressed in my uniform in an impeccable manner, as impeccable as I can be, is giving my respect to that event, and that's what being uniformed is all about. The coordination, the actual, in this document, which is a great document. So if you haven't seen the document, please download it, print it, and put it in your pocket and refer to it. When you coordinate the movements, the symmetry of the ceremony is key. When Peter is running a memorial service and he's coming to his tribute, which is the red flower, I have to be right there. I'm right behind him. I'm right there. I'm showing the red flower. I present this red flower and I begin my movement. We meet, we present the flower in a dignified manner to tribute, so that there's no, oh, where's the red flower? Where's the start? I'm waiting for the red flower. That can't happen. That just, it happens and it's okay, but it can't happen. And if you're operating how we operate, it can't happen. It doesn't happen. And so on and so forth, for each tribute. And coordinating the national anthem and is key in the bugler and taps. That's so what you don't see behind the scenes, and well, actually, you guys have all seen this, but we're making sure when we say, ladies and gentlemen, face the flag of our nation, please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the national anthem sung by VFW National Honor Guard, or VFW Auxiliary, Willa Watts, that Willa knows I'm saying this and she's right by the microphone. She's a pro, so she's right by the microphone, but you don't know who you're dealing with. So you got to make sure they're ready to go as these sequence of events occur. And at the closing ceremony, you really have to coordinate with your bugler, because the comrade bugler has to know the signal he's going to get. And my signal always to him is, comrade bugler, prepare to sound taps, present arms, or I call people to attention. Comrade bugler, prepare to sound taps, order arms. It gives him the chance to put the bugle on and get going, whether it's a mechanical bugle or an actual bugle. It gives that pause for him to do that. So make sure you're talking to your national anthem singer and your bugler. And again, if you, this is something that Peter and I don't have to worry about. We just do it all the time. But if you don't have that relationship with your sergeant, it's something you have to build. And you may have different sergeants, but so I'm giving you key points, even if you don't have the same sergeant all the time. And then section 6 of Peter's document is the conclusion, and it's heart. You chaplains provide the heart of the event, your words of inspiration. And I don't ever stop getting inspired by those words. And my role is the discipline role. We're giving in the sergeant role, it's the reverence that we're giving by uniformity, by precision, by military bearing, by proper commands, all those things. That's my role. And hand in hand, again, we've had just tremendous ceremonies, Peter and I. And that concludes my notes and my.
Let me jump in here. Just thank you, Brian, and say a few words. Now,
Absolutely.
this just happened because Brian is a man of precision and also perfectionist. And I have my idiosyncrasies as well. Okay, now, so you have Brian out there as the sergeant at arms, and you have me as the chaplain. It always irritated me when they called for the prayer and the chaplain was not at the podium. So when I became the chaplain at the department level and then also at the conference level and at national level, I made sure I was right at the podium when he called for the prayer. Now, between the sergeant and the chaplain, you have the commander and the commander-in-chief. And the commander and the commander-in-chief are not always comfortable in that role, particularly if it's their first time or so functioning. They're not really sure. So this is where the sergeant really has to go up to the commander or the commander-in-chief, and like he did with our present commander-in-chief, this is how it's done. All they have to say is, Sergeant, prepare the room. Now, once that is done, the sergeant at arms takes over and with precision does that. Now, I get in position. A lot of people aren't, they're focusing on what's happening out there. So I'm in position. Now, the commander or commander-in-chief, a lot of times they don't know to move. So I have to tell them, I am right behind you. And that little word, sometimes startles them and they move. But you then, as the chaplain, have to make sure you get in position. In other words, you gotta, that is your position, and they have to take a half a step to the left or back or something. But that is your position. You have to be prepared. Now, so when Brian would call for the presentation of the colors, I would make sure I was in position, and I would let the commander-in-chief know or the commander know that I'm right there. Now, with his precision, the room then is focused on the flags coming forward and the symbolism that has taken place. Now, if you don't remember anything else, my point I want to make is you got to be in position. Do not wait to be called upon. You have to move, and you know that you're up. You know what's the order, and you have to get in position and be ready to go. Now, when you come to the prayer, Brian and I always touch base before every event. And I would say, in other words, he would call them to attention at ease. And I would put my hand right at the corner of my cover. And when he saw that, he called for the removal of the covers. I didn't call for the removal of the covers. I prefer, and I believe, Brian, you would agree, that the sergeant of arms calls for the covers to be removed. You remember, I don't know where we started that, but somewhere or another, I said, when I go like this, right at my that was his signal to call for the covers to be removed. You want to say anything about that, Brian?
Yes, the sergeant does call for the uncovering, and that calls for, I think, for example, again, latest example, Chaplain Darren. I asked him, do you prefer we uncover? I ask respectfully. I'm not telling him we have to uncover. It's his call. You guys make the call. That's something I think people, the rank and file, if you will, the membership don't understand. That's the chaplain call, whether you uncover or not. Now, we know we're going to uncover in most situations. We don't uncover in the memorial service. We uncover in the opening ceremonies, but not during the memorial service. And that the members, that throws a lot of the membership off, and they think you're doing the wrong thing, but we know we're doing the right thing. So yes, I said to Darren, you want me to call and cover? Yes, we're going to uncover. So we got that out of the way. If I had a chaplain say, no, we're not going to cover this, guess what? You're the boss. We're not going to cover. No matter what you call that, but uncover.
That shouldn't happen.
No.
In other words, in a normal meeting, in other words, it just ought to flow like that.
Yes, you're going to uncover. It's that you have to talk about it, but just to confirm it. And like this memorial service that we just did and at convention, I said, just to confirm, we're not uncovering during memorial service. No, that's something we don't do. It's not. It's specifically not called for in the memorial service, and it throws the membership off. Not us, but it throws the members off because they want to uncover, and then they come to you and say, "Why didn't we uncover?" Because it's not in this scenario. It's not called for.
Okay, so you have the presentation of the colors, you have the invocation. Now, following the invocation, you have the pledge and you have the national anthem.
All right.
Now, it's very important that musician, soloist, or if somebody is playing, that they are in position as well, ready to go. Now, Brian referred to Willow Watts at National. She knows that she's in position, ready to go. Now, you don't always have that at the state level or someplace else. So what I do is I go to that musician ahead of time. And particularly it rotates at conference level. The auxiliary musician sometimes rotates and they're not always in tune with it. But at the state and at conference level, I will go to the musician and I will explain that what's going to take place is a presentation of the colors, the invocation, and then the national anthem. And I will say that they should be in position next to me, standing right behind me when I give my prayer. When I finish my prayer, I take a step back and they take a step forward. They're in position. And so I get them to do that. Now at the state level, it happens because I've been working with the auxiliary musician, the soloist, for a number of years. And it's you know, when she knows that when the colors are coming forward, I'm moving and comes up on the platform and she's right there behind me, a step or two behind me.
Yeah.
And following that invocation, I'm taking a step back and she's taking a step forward and she's ready to go so that you don't have to wait. Now, what I notice is, and this happens, in other words, because I know how we function, but sometimes you have a chaplain waiting over there, and then you have a soloist that may be in the front row.
Right.
So now they have to get off out of the front row. They have to go make their way to the platform, come up to the platform, come all the way across, and the audience is standing there waiting, and the poor sergeant is waiting, and it's a loss of time, but it ruins the dignity and precision of the moment. So I'm a stickler for that, and you as a chaplain, you have every right to go in a nice way and communicate to that musician, this is how it's going to be done. Because basically, I feel that I'm in charge there. The department commander is the department commander, but they're not in charge of this part of the ceremony. They don't even think about it. You know, the sergeant of arms is on the floor. They're in charge, but they can't say from the floor, "Hey, would you get out of your seat and get up there?"
Right. And that's a good point that you're in charge. And I want to reinforce that point that I'm working for you at that moment. Or actually, I'm working for you. You're, first of all, you're higher ranking officer and you're in charge of that ceremony. So every sergeant that you have is actually working for you. And you chaplains can consider it that way. You know, they may not all take it that way. That's the fact. You are in charge.
I never really broke it down. I just know that in my mind that for this to work, I have to go to that musician and say, this is the way it's going to be done. And I
Yes.
have to also indicate to the department commander to step to the left or something, or I'm right behind. Now, then you have all these types of ceremonies, like you're going to do the POW. We anticipate what's coming up. You got POW, you got other ceremonies that are coming up. So you anticipate these and you prepare. You prepare. Fortunately for the Juneau, Alaska Memorial, you gave me I think 12-hour notice. So when you said that, I'm saying a monument in Juneau. It's a USS Juneau. So now I have to go and find out about the USS Juneau. So you have to do background as to what that, you need a little time. Now, I had a little time because Brian gave me 12 hours. But I tell you, sometimes you don't have time, because I've been at the national level where the Dan West has walked over and said, we have this situation or something, would you do a special prayer? And I have really about 3 minutes to think about it. Now, fortunately, I put on my phone ChatGPT, and I put on Copilot. If you remember, we told you to do that. If you looked at the national PowerPoint to have that access, and frankly, if you type in just a short thing, you will get an idea. So I'm sitting at national, and I forget what it was now, but I'm throwing a loop. And I have about 3 minutes. And so I there on my phone and I'm looking and I got an idea, and bingo, I was able to pull it off. But they don't give you notice sometimes. Now, with ceremonies, you can look at the calendar, you know what's coming, you anticipate. And what I like about Brian is he goes to the commander or commander in chief and suggests, hey, this is what we'd like to do. And most of the time they buy it. But every once in a while they may buck because they're looking at a time sequence.
Exactly. Yeah.
But those are now. Let me say this. It's imperative that the chaplain and the sergeant at arms work closely together, leading and guiding the assembly through these elements. And I'll tell you what, when it's unfortunate, I don't know where I got these quirks of being a perfectionist on some things, and Brian, it's just part of your nature as well. But when you step out of the way and I step out of the way, not everybody functions like we do. And when you have somebody that's a little bit looser and loosey-goosey and things don't happen, the effect that the audience sees is great, and it shouldn't happen. In other words, what I'm suggesting is that every one of you at your level, the post level, the district level, the state level, the conference level, work on working with that sergeant in precision, and hopefully you have a sergeant that functions in a precise way. Now, if anybody has any questions or suggestions, feel free to, and I'll recognize you. Dave, I see your hand up. Go ahead, unmute yourself and
Okay.
enter in.
So what I found out, as I used to be the department chaplain for a long time, and also now I'm a national assistant to the national sergeant. You're absolutely right. But one thing about the chaplain is he or she is usually there for more than 1 year, right? Once you start becoming a chaplain, if you're in the state level, you're probably there 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years. These commanders that are coming through, they're nervous for number one because they only have two. They have a midwinter and their actual convention. So there's only 2 times they're actually in charge of a big meeting. Well, you've seen it for years and years and years. They don't really know what's going on. So you need to talk to those commanders and tell them, hey, this is what we're doing today. You will be here at this, even especially the memorial service. I tell the commanders, or I did, I just called them because it's Idaho's pretty small, and I just called them and said, you guys will be at the memorial training. Well, I got no, you will be there. Okay, then they just shut up and they're there, right? I mean, I don't care. It's a half hour, maybe an hour at the most. This is what I want. And they, as the chaplain, they will be there. You just tell them you will be there. And you don't give them an option of not being there. But especially when you're starting and closing the meetings, they don't always know that you open the Bible before you say your prayer. You want to have, if you can have the sergeant do it, great. If you don't have one, I would have somebody come up from the crowd and do it, or I would do it myself and say the prayer out loud. But you are basically in charge, as they've said here, especially as Brian said, the chaplain's in charge. If he doesn't take his hat off, you leave your hat on. It's a responsibility. You're in charge, but you're not. I mean, nobody's really in charge of anything, right? I mean, because it's a volunteer organization. But you're still the one going to make things happen and make it look professional as the chaplain. And having the sergeant having your back makes both of you look great. So you got to thank both sides of it. And I'm happen to be one of those people that got to do both. Because now I get to do both, and it's great watching both ends of it. So I really do enjoy that.
Oh, terrific. I really appreciate you saying that. Did Dave Swanson pop on? I don't know if Dave's here. Dave, if you're there, unmute yourself and feel free to pop in. I don't know if he's on. I wanted him to share from working with me at the state level, but I don't know if he was able to make it. But anyway, anybody else have any? Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Andrew, you're up.
All right. When I was the department chaplain, besides working with the sergeant of arms, when it came to the state commander, the AQ was also a very vital person to work with, because my adjutant at that time, he was working with the commander, and he basically would advise the commander what needed to happen. And if you have a good adjutant, he will let the commander know, hey, the chaplain's in charge. This is the chaplain program, and we just need to do what they do. So if you're having issues with maybe your department commander, I would also recommend working with your adjutant, because he's normally guiding and writing and putting everything out there. And now that I'm the department AQ, I'm working with my department chaplain, and I basically told her, whatever you need, I'm there for you. Let me know, and I'll make sure the commander does what he needs to do, or the rest of us. So adjutant's also another good person to keep in your back pocket.
Very, very good point. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Yeah. And
Peter,
yeah,
if I could just say that going through these years with you and with Deb and with Dave Fry and now with Darren, it's been very. I don't think there's been another chaplain. We've like Dave Fry was. It's the personalities. You guys, I feel lucky we've had you guys as the chaplains. You guys have great personalities. You were great to work with. You're each one of you are easy to approach. We've been blessed on the VFW side to have excellent national chaplains. And there's 4 you right there that I can think of, right? And of course, Jim Jenkins, and same thing. 5.
You're very gracious there, Brian.
No, I mean,
very gracious.
Yeah, easy to get along with. Like, hey, what do you think about this? It's like easy conversations. Like, there's people who can't talk. There's people who don't want to talk to you. There's people who are. You guys are great to talk to and great to get along with. So my experience has been so great with all you guys.
Deb, from your experience, you want to throw anything in here? You've been at every level as well.
I laugh when you say we don't take nobody takes their hat off until the chaplain takes their hat off. I've had their hats off when I start walking towards the podium because they know you're going to pray and they just automatically take it off. So if I don't take it off, I'm the one out of uniform. Everybody else has got their hats off.
But but if you don't call it, if you don't take yours off, I'm not calling it. I'm
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it's always so funny because in the memorial service that where we don't remove hats because it's the high level memorial service, the minute that you start to pray, everybody takes their hat off whether it's been called or not. And that's fine. It's just, I think the intent is more important than the perfection at that point. And if they're really praying, I'm all for that. But no, I had never worked with a sergeant of arms until I became a national chaplain. My department has a sergeant of arms by title, and he makes the calls from a piece of paper he has written in his hand. He doesn't wear a uniform, and it's just not the same. So I thank God, Brian, you were there when I was the national chaplain because you made it a lot easier on me because I was learning what your job was at that point.
It was great. It was excellent. It was we. I remember that exact incident where you came up and didn't uncover and everybody else. But I followed your lead because you're the boss.
There you go. Yeah, I'll try not to make any mistakes if I get to do it again.
It was not a mistake. It was not a mistake. You can do whatever you want. Again, you're in charge of that ceremony.
Well,
When you're
good.
nervous, you don't remember things. Like,
We started a little bit late, and I don't want to go too much longer. If somebody has something to say, I don't want to cut you off. But as I wrap it up, I really want to thank you for your time. Take a look at the document that I sent out. If you have any suggestions, anything you want to add, send it to me, and I can always adjust it and send it out. And Chappie will be posting that, not only a document, but he'll also be posting this on the website. Let's continue to support one another, pray for one another, and that remember when we put the badge on and we function, all the eyes and the focus on you, and so you have to do it in a godly manner, but in a what I call a very professional manner, not a slipshod, sloppy manner. That's what we don't want to see from the chaplains. We don't want to see sloppiness and where somebody they have to call them. And I see in the auxiliary sometimes the auxiliary, and if we have any auxiliary on here tonight, there's a lot of the chaplain opening and the closing of the Bible in the auxiliary program. A lot of it. So that means every time there's an opening and closing of the Bible, there's wherever they're sitting, they a lot of times you have to wait till they come up. Anticipate what is coming on, get a copy of the script, know it, sit up front near the Bible so that you can do that and that function and not be the focus of somebody walking up all around and then walking all the way back. That's the thing we don't want to have. So thank you, Brian, very much. I really appreciate it. It's been a joy working with you.
Same here.
When you were appointed the chaplain at arms, I was so pleased because your military precision is there, and I really appreciate that. And it carried over to us working together. It's been a joy, and I trust that Darren, you will have the same joy that I had working with Brian. So if anybody else, there's a question here. I'm sorry, Nicholas, go ahead there. Nicholas, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. Open up and go ahead.
No, that wasn't me. I was doing something else. I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong thing. Keith, looks like Keith is up there.
Okay, Keith.
Chaplain Hook, my name is Keith Rubel, and I'm the current adjutant for Post 6461 here in Fountain, Colorado. Karen Reinhold, who is our state chaplain, our department chaplain right now, I know him very well. I served in Iraq with him. Very good guy. when he was our post commander, he told me he wanted me to look at what I wanted to do within the VFW. I've done everything except be commander yet. Over the last year and a half, I figured out what I want to do. Ronnie Ferguson is now our chaplain. It's my intentions to be a chaplain and to learn it. And that's why I'm in here tonight, sir.
Wonderful. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. A good one to start. And when you get the emails, you'll see the website information. Just look at there. All the stuff is there. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back
Peter.
over to, yes,
Peter, can I just say one last thing?
yes.
This is my first call with you guys, and it's really great. I've been wanting to come on for a long time, but this actually inspires me to do this on the sergeant side with our sergeant,
Good, good.
and then have like I'd like to talk to you about how you develop this. I maybe a sergeant side, a sergeant Zoom call where we talk about procedures. Then we have you guys in as our guests. This is really great. I mean, I'm serious. I'm serious. We'll talk about.
Well, we'll talk and we'll get that done. We'll get that done.
Yes.
Really, because at the national level, what we did at national, we broke it out to the conferences and all the way down to the post level. And as the national level, the national sergeants, you really are the model for what takes place at the conference and also at the department level. So the training that could take place would be great.
Yeah, we don't have anything in writing, and I've been asked, "What do you guys do? Where's your template?" We don't have one. We just do it. And so slowly, words are being compiled, like you compiled tonight with that document. Yes.
Hey, that's a start. You can take that
yes.
and refine it.
Yes. So I really appreciate this. This could be a start of something for the sergeant side too. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Hey, thanks everybody. Have a blessed rest of the week. And then also remember Darren and his family. Pray for the council administration as they're out in Kansas City at this time. And then also for those in our nation who are grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk. And particularly for the chaplains in that area that are working with the communities. So at this point, Deb, I'm going to turn it over to you and we're going to one by one sign off, I guess, okay?